Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I used to be the type of person who always felt like nobody understood me. Nobody really got who I was. And even if I would be in a group of friends or in a large group of people at a party or socializing in any function, whether it be with family or buddies, girlfriends, anyone, I always felt somewhat alone. I always had a sense of loneliness because I just truly felt that nobody really got me. I would get offended and it felt like that nobody really tried, nobody really cared. This is a certain level of narcissistic victim tendencies. It's a depression. One of the problems with it is that people who experience this, myself included, when I used to, I realized that I wasn't letting people in. So it's this double-edged sword where I wouldn't really let people into my world, into my mentality. I wouldn't express myself openly. I wouldn't really show people who the real me was. I wouldn't include myself in open dialogue about my feelings and my hopes and dreams. I would keep all that stuff somewhat secret, somewhat bottled up, because that's the way I was raised. That's the way my mother was. That's the way people were around me. But then I would cry at the same time and whine and bitch about how nobody really got me. Nobody really knew the real Sky. How would anybody know if you don't let them in? If you're not open with who you are and what you think about, your belief systems, your morals, your values, if you're not showing your true character, people won't really get you. They don't really know you. This is why it's so interesting sometimes to see people's social media. One of the reasons why I like social media, I can tell you a lot of fucked up, stupid shit that social media creates. But one of the things I find interesting about social media is that people will reveal certain aspects of their personality through social media that they never reveal in public. Now, sometimes that can be annoying, but I find it fascinating because you really get to know the true person. Between their social media and hanging out with them in real life, you can really see what someone's really about. You know, I have had friends for years, decades, never knew what politics they held. Had no idea. I don't know if they were liberal or conservative. Wouldn't know who they voted for. I wouldn't know any of the moral beliefs they have, any kind of virtues or anything. I wouldn't know anything like that. No clue. No idea. Now that kind of stuff is kind of important when you socialize with people because you want people who are like you, that have the same worldview, the same outlook on things. But if you're not expressing yourself, other people really won't engage in that conversation either. So you have to initiate it most of the time. And you have to be open and be able to show who you are. You know, you've heard the term of wearing your life on your sleeve. It's a good idea to be able to just kind of wear your personality, your individuality on your sleeve so everybody can see it. Why hide that shit? Only people that hide who they truly are people who harbor fear. They're afraid of letting people in. They're afraid of being hurt. They're afraid of who they really are. They don't have the confidence in themselves. There's many reasons, but it's all fear-based negativity. So if you're one of these types where you whine and bitch and moan and say, nobody gets me, you can feel alone in a crowd of people, you always just kind of have this undercurrent of loneliness, like a draft in your house, and that draft is this lonely feeling that you always have because nobody really truly gets who you are. It's bullshit. There's not a lot of variety in human nature. People like to think that they're individuals, and I'm not taking anything away from individuality, but you get a bunch of people in the room and you start to see repetitive patterns. Oh, you're into that stuff too? Me too. You'll find more of that. You believe in that shit too? Me, I believe in that stuff. You voted for that guy? Yeah, I voted for him too. You'll find more of those experiences and find bonds and connections with others around you the more that you open up. It comes from you. You have to be actively engaged in the process. When people whine and bitch I used to do this, so I can speak from experience about how nobody really cared to get to know you. People aren't Sherlock Holmes. A lot of people aren't interested enough. They're lost in their own problems and issues. They may be narcissistic themselves, and if you want someone to get to know who you really are, you have to show who you really are. You have to start the process. You have to be the first one to kick the ball. People will play the game with you. And I've found that I can be incredibly open with what I think, what I believe, who I am, my experiences, my hopes and dreams, my goals, everything about me. Just let it all out. And the people that I'm with will also be that way. These are the ways that you get into some of the most amazing conversations with people. This is when you are really at your true self, when you're being completely open. The whole notion of hiding who you are just leads to your own self-misery. And it is really a narcissistic victim bullshit game that people play when they hide who they are, when they don't reveal aspects of their character, but then whine and bitch and complain that nobody knows these things. You think people are fucking psychic. You can't play the victim with that kind of bullshit because you're the one doing it to yourself. I had to realize this. It's not a fun thing to realize that this complaint that I had for many years of nobody really knows the true sky was all my own doing, was my own goddamn fault. And how did I solve it? I solved it by opening up, by letting go of some of that fear-based negativity, some of that unconfidence, and just realize I am who I am. People will like me or they don't. And this is how you find your tribe. This is how you find your group. This is how you find your clique, your crew, your confidants. It's just by being completely open and seeing how those types of conversations go. Seeing how that type of interaction goes. Because you already have experience with how it goes the other way, with being closed. Nobody can see through a closed door. A lot of people aren't really interested in or may not see your mystery. Some people think, well, I'm just an enigma, I'm a mystery. No, you're not. Nobody really is. It's important to be able to express ourselves, to take the risk and to allow ourselves to just be who we are. Not everybody's going to like you. That's okay. You don't need everybody to like you. Too many friends is a hassle. Having too many friends is fake. You surround yourself with a bunch of fucking frauds, a bunch of backstabbers and losers. Keep a tight circle. But don't whine and bitch about people not knowing who you are if you're not expressing yourself openly. If you're not playing the game too. Let it all out there. Thanks for watching.